What's up, guys? My name is Jerry, and today's video is going to be on the Detroit Pistons, and we're going to be talking about who should be the starting center, and we're going to jump right into the video. So far, the Detroit Pistons have had one preseason game that came across the New York Knicks, and as I watched that game, I would say there weren't many bright spots, but I really liked what I saw from our two rookies. Jalen Duren, he played a very solid game, grabbing 14 rebounds. And Jaden Ivey, he looked really great, really explosive, and it seems like finishing around the rim in the NBA, that's still going to be easy to him. So like I said, weren't too many bright spots. I feel like we turned the ball over a lot, and I also feel like we're going to have some competition at the center position. Right now, Isaiah Stewart is starting. I'm not saying there's going to be competition because Isaiah Stewart is trash. I'm a huge fan of him, but it's like the Pistons, they have so much depth at that big position with Stewart, with Bagley, with Jalen Duren. You could also get Nerlens Noel into that mix. And after what I saw from the preseason game, I think that center position is going to be open competition for at least the first half of the season. So in this video, we're going to be going over, who should be the starting center for the Detroit Pistons, kind of going over their pros and cons, and then we're gonna see where we are by the end of the video. And we're gonna start with Isaiah Stewart. So right now, Isaiah Stewart is currently the starting center for the Detroit Pistons, but I wouldn't be shocked if that changed at some point during this season. Now, when it comes to Isaiah Stewart, there is so much to love about his game, and I actually love a lot about his personality. I think he has that dog in him, and I think he puts in a lot of hard work and dedication to the game. And I think this one thing right here is going to say so much about his personality. This offseason, when he's seen the Detroit Pistons getting so many new bigs to the front court, they got Marvin Bagley last season, they got Jalen Duren in the draft, and then Nerlens Noel. It's just a bunch of bigs that can put some pretty productive minutes. So when asked about that, he said that there's a possibility that he could be playing some minutes at the 4, so he's going to be putting some real work into his 3-point shot. So I think things like that, when you do what you can to help the team and make the team better, I think that says a lot about your character. So I love Isaiah Stewart as a person, and then there's a lot of things to love about his game as well. And I'm a big fan of what he can do on the defensive side of the ball. A lot of people like his defense in the low post and his ability to block shots. My favorite part of his of his defensive prowess is his ability to be a versatile defender. I feel like this doesn't really get talked about that much, but Isaiah Stewart, he's like 6'8", 6'9", and he's pretty mobile. He's pretty mobile, and he can move his feet pretty good for his size. So it gives him the ability to be able to switch onto smaller guards. And we know in today's NBA that is so valuable. So I feel like Isaiah Stewart, he is a great defender, and I love him on the defensive side of the ball. And as I watched that preseason game against the New York Knicks, now Isaiah Stewart, like I said, I believe he's like 6'8", 6'9", somewhere in that range. He definitely has the strength, and he definitely has the heart and soul to play the center position. He is not no punk down there, but I feel like sometimes when he go against more traditional bigs, he kind of struggles. Like Mitchell Robinson, that's who he was matched up with on the New York Knicks, and Isaiah Stewart played 22 minutes, I believe, and he was only able to bring down one rebound. So things like that are a bit concerning. And then also on the offensive side of the ball, now since Isaiah Stewart has came into the NBA, he's never been a scoring big, and he's never been a rim runner. That's never been a part of his game. And I feel like last night, that was kind of on display at times when Jaden Ivey and Cade Cunningham, they were putting a lot of pressure on the opposing team's defense, and then it would be an easy dump off to Isaiah Stewart. He kind of like fumbled the ball a couple of times, or he couldn't get a good catch on the ball, and these should be easy buckets. I don't know if this is just some knocking the rust off, but I feel like Isaiah Stewart, since he's came into the league, he's kind of been up and down around the rim. So I feel like offensively it's still a work in progress. But like I said, Isaiah Stewart, he has that heart and soul, and he loves to work on his game. And that's why I feel like right now that center position is kind of open for competition, because when you have Jaden Ivey and Cade Cunningham out there on the court. You want guys around him who can capitalize off those easy situations. But then it makes it hard because Isaiah Stewart, he brings so many other great things to the game of basketball. But that's how I'm feeling about Isaiah Stewart. And now we're going to talk about Marvin Bagley. Now Marvin Bagley, he's like the opposite of Isaiah Stewart. Isaiah Stewart is really great on the defensive side of the ball and still finding his way on offense. And then Marvin Bagley, he's pretty solid on the offensive side of the ball and he's still finding his way defensively. And when it comes to defense with Marvin Bagley, I think it's an effort thing. You look at his frame, his physical features. He's kind of thin for the big spot, but I feel like his athleticism and his strength, it should make up for some of that. So I kind of feel like with Marvin Bagley, it's an effort thing, because with the mobility and athleticism that he possesses, he should be one of those bigs that's getting out there on the perimeter and putting a lot of pressure on those smaller players. But that's just not something that has been accustomed to him so far in his basketball career. But offensively, I would love him to start, especially at the 5. If it would be like Marvin Bagley and then Boban and then Saddiq Bey, Jaden Ivey, and Cade Cunningham, I feel like the offense for the Detroit Pistons will be off the charts, but defensively, they might struggle a little bit. But I love Marvin Bagley in this lineup, especially with Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey, because he is so good at finishing around the rim, and you can also throw him the ball on like the elbow or the low block, and he can go out and make a play for himself. But you guys know, man, since Marvin Bagley has came to the Pistons, all I talk about is his pick and roll with Cade Cunningham. You get Cade Cunningham the right guy to run that pick and roll with, it's going to unlock so many different things in the offense. And we saw that. We saw that the whole second half of the season when Marvin Bagley arrived. His impact on the court just changed a lot of things offensively. But yeah, he's great at running the floor. He's great at rim running. He gets it off the offensive glass, and if he's feeling good, he can go to work in the post. So you can make a case for Marvin Bagley being the starting center, but I think since he doesn't have that defensive presence, that lineup might just struggle a little bit too much on the defensive side of the ball. But I feel like it's something that we could definitely see happen. So we talked about Marvin Bagley, and I also want to talk about the youngest player in the NBA, Jalen Duren. Now, Jalen Duren, he's like a mix between the two. He's like Marvin Bagley and Isaiah Stewart put together, because Jalen Duren, he's actually pretty elite on the defensive side of the ball, and he's pretty solid on the offensive side of the ball. And he really showcased that in the preseason game against the New York Knicks. Now, I think Jalen Duren, the conversation of him like being a starter immediately is not occurring because he's just so young and he doesn't have that experience. I feel like Isaiah Stewart, he automatically gets the nod over him at the beginning of the season just because Jalen Duren is a rookie. But, you know, rookies, as the season go on, they can make a case to become a starter. And like we already established, I think the center position right now, I think it's open competition for at least the first half of the season. But Jalen Duren, love what I saw from him in that preseason game against the New York Knicks. I know one thing that people were saying that he needed to work on was his ability to rebound the basketball, and he went out there and grabbed 14 rebounds, so that's a great sign. And then also what he can do on the defensive side of the ball. Now, Jalen Duren, he may be the youngest player in the NBA, but he definitely doesn't look like it. He's 6'11", 250 pounds, and it's all muscles. He excels at shot blocking and protecting the rim, but what makes him such a good defender, and he put this on display against the New York Knicks, is that he is comfortable switching on to smaller players, and he has the ability, the athleticism, the lateral quickness to force them into a tough situation and get a great contest on their shot. So I feel like Jalen Duren, like I said, the NBA, they love that nowadays when you have a big that can be a presence down in the paint and then also be versatile enough to step out into the perimeter. So I love that about Jalen Duren. But he also gives you, he also has an impact on the offensive side of the ball as well. And I love this for Cade Cunningham, because this is another big that can get in that pick and roll with him and be effective as a rim runner. Jalen Duren, he's very athletic. Looking at him in the summer league, looking looking at him when he played at Memphis. He gets up there and he attacks that rim. He dunks the ball really hard. He has a soft touch around the rim. He can finish with both hands. So if Cade Cunningham is getting him those open looks around the rim, he will have no problem finishing it. And during college, he showed flashes of being able to play with his back to the basket. Also showed flashes of being able to knock down a jump shot. So he has a little bit potential on the offensive side of the ball. But I know for a fact defensively, he's gonna be a monster. I already see that within him. So I feel like with these three bigs right here, Isaiah Stewart, Marvin Bagley, and Jalen Duren, I feel like these three guys are gonna be able to compete for that starting center position. And as of right now, I like Isaiah Stewart starting just because I love the way he plays the game of basketball. He has a lot of heart and soul. So right now I'm rocking with him to be the starting center. But I wouldn't be surprised, if those other guys started gunning for the position later on this season. But that's going to be it for this video. If you guys enjoyed, please leave a like, comment down below who you think should be the starting center for the Detroit Pistons, and then subscribe for more weekly content. We do this all the time, man, and that's curtains.